What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Acqua di Parma, and this is a black label. So if you guys are familiar with the house, they have clear bottles, they have green bottles, blue bottles, and black bottles. And today we're going to go over the black. It's going to be an eau de parfum concentration, so I know that's going to be good news for a lot of you Acqua di Parma lovers who really want to get into the house but need something to punch a little bit stronger. Hopefully, not only is this fragrance good, but it punches in terms of its performance and projection. Strap up. Let's go for a ride.
Okay, dinner for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on time, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the scent bubble. I am your host for the evening. Today from the house of Acqua di Parma, we have Magnolia Infinita. Magnolia Infinite, let's just call it that. This might be the first fragrance I've seen from Acqua di Parma that is marketed towards women only. Most of the things I've seen have been unisex. Haven't seen a men's yet, but we're going to review a lot of Acqua di Parma on this channel. So I assure you that by the release of this video, there should at least be 10 that I've evaluated from the house. And at the time of this video, I think I own at least 4 Acqua di Parmas. So I have a lot of experience with this house. I'm excited to try this black label, which is a eau de parfum. And I'm not quite sure about the difference between all the different labels. Obviously, they're a certain line, but I don't know if there's any story to it. Now, as I spray this with Acqua di Parmas, we have to do skin as well as the test strip, because the number one thing you want to check with Acqua di Parmas is first the performance and then the scent. Again, performance has become less of an issue for me as I've gone through my fragrance journey. I can spray more, I can layer, I can do all that good stuff. But in general, I've noticed Acqua di Parmas to be underperforming more than moderate or aggressively performing. And so when I see a trend of light fragrances, I do want to let you guys know, because for a lot of you guys jumping in to fragrances like from houses like this, performance is an issue. And it is nice to wear a fragrance and put it away and not have to take it with you. So I do notice that and want to bring that information to you guys in my evaluation. Now, as this sits down, let's see if there's anything I can tell you about it. Again, fragrance for women, launched in 2022, 3.8 out of 5. So not mass appealing. And normally if it's below a 4, I say it's not even considerable. So hopefully I will like it enough to tell you to try it, but I'm going to be honest. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Yeah, I think this is definitely try-worthy, ladies. Again, this is not a men's fragrance. I think when it comes to the Magnolia as a flower, it's a note in perfumery that can feel either too cheap or too real. The best Magnolias to me walk a fine line between natural and slightly sweet. Now, that's not to say that a Magnolia is not naturally sweet, but I typically find that a nice candied touch on it is really appropriate. I like it. It does. I think women could really gel with this. It's not overbearing. It's not too weak. I do sense a bit of rose petal in this. It does imitate a kind of hairspray or expensive hair conditioner feel, a Bath and Body Works feel. It could be a lotion, anything like that. It's not extremely unique, but it's just right. It walks a perfect line between natural and slightly futuristic or vibrant or graffiti-ish or animated or exciting. You know, it's not too natural that it feels old. Feels very, very modern. It's quite simple, though, I will say that. I feel like there is Magnolia, Rose, and Musk. That's what I feel like I'm getting from this. And even though it's simple, it totally does the job, ladies. Let's go ahead and see what's in this fragrance. Top notes, bergamot, lemon, and orange. Middle notes, magnolia, jasmine, ylang-ylang, and rose. Base notes, musk and patchouli. You know, I'll be honest with you. The patchouli just kind of brings it close to the ground, close to the soil in this case, but you don't get dirty patchouli. Shoot, you don't even really get clean patchouli or the perception of patchouli. I am very familiar with patchouli, and I feel like with this fragrance, if I didn't tell you it was in it, you wouldn't know it was there. And for a women's upscale casual fragrance, I think that's appropriate in this case. Yeah, total floral basket leaning on magnolia and rose. The citrus is what I think is animating it to be a little more bubbly and lively. It doesn't feel too young, doesn't feel too old, feels perfectly ageless for you ladies. Again, my only gripe with this is truly that it so closely imitates the kind of conditioners and lotions and candles that you ladies would find in a Bath and Body Works. So the question really becomes, will you spend $100 or $200 on a fragrance like this if you were only using this, you know? But if you had an assortment of fragrances, unless you really had the money and you were balling, you know, you might be like, well, I could get this somewhere else. That's the sentiment I get with this. Ladies, to those of you who are adverse to ylang-ylang, this isn't too strong. You know, ylang-ylang can oftentimes be very pungent and off-putting. This is not at all. This seems, again, magnolia, rose with just this super bright pop from citrus. But I truly don't even get a ton of citrus either. Yeah, it almost has even a soapy quality to it. Let's go through the usual suspects. Again, women's fragrance, 2022 release, casual, upscale casual, rich person's casual. For those of you ladies who buy floral or fruity bath washes and conditioners and things like that, I really feel like the advantage you have versus a man is that when a man puts on a citrus or a floral fragrance, we're not bathing in something that we walk out of the shower already smelling kind of like that. And so that would add a backbone to a fragrance that's underperforming. What's great about these fragrances is I think the women's advantage to the Acqua di Parma line is a lot of times what you're shampooing and lathering your body up with is naturally going to evoke an odor similar, or I should say smell. Odor sounds crazy. A smell similar to what the Acqua di Parmas feel like. And so if a juice is underperforming or just not that projective, your body will naturally lift it with the scent profile that's already on you from those various body washes, candles, hair mists, etc. And so I imagine this could really pop off skin for a woman in a very natural way that's still really nice. I'm very surprised it got a 3.8. The only reason I think it could score that low is because a woman might feel like, you know, it's a bit generic to pay $100 to $200 for. Again, this fragrance retails at around the $140 price point. Testers at $110. So I think this is a fair price for the type of quality you get with Acqua di Parma. You know, it's on par with being, even in a lot of cases, cheaper than your designer fragrances. And I think it does beat out a lot of designer fragrances because it doesn't smell cheap. And I do have to apologize about my camera, guys. I got a new cord, and so sometimes it can be a bit lame. It'll show back up in a second. But yeah, I do think this does punch. You know, if you're into the Ariana Grande and the Givenchy and the, you know, the Billie Eilish and stuff like that, this is a step above all that while still giving you that vibe. I give this a 7 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 in terms of performance, projection, and quality, but the DNA style, again, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff you can find much cheaper that imitates this. But ladies, if you have the money, I could see this being dumb reach. Again, for age group for ladies, I do feel somewhat juvenile about it. I think it's a 30 and under, for sure 25 and under, but 30-year-olds could definitely wear this casually, and I think there would be no problem. For my older women, my tastefully older women, you could totally rock this casually, but I think you might have a kind of been there, done that feel with this. But definitely get your nose on it, because if you're not tired of magnolia and citrus and light airy rose that you can rock very naturalistically, this is good. It is good. I think, again, 7 in scent profile, 8 in terms of feel, vibe, and in quality. Spray yourself. I think 6 to 10 times, ladies. Really lather yourself in this, whether you're showering in something like it or not. With these florals, it's going to just increase that initial star power of this quality, you know, or of this style. You know, by layering it a lot on your skin, you'll start to get more of a 2-3 hour of great projection and performance and kind of delay that dry down. I'm seeing moderate performance with this, 4 to 6 hours, depending on how heavy you spray. I don't think you could spray light with this unless you're going to church or something. You know, 4 to 6 sprays is probably appropriate because you want it to dry down to a skin scent and not be offensive. But if you're hustling and bustling, please spray this north of at least 8 times. I think 6 to 8 is going to be the key for you ladies here. But I also think there's a part of me that says you can just not even count and just go all over your body. And yeah, you're going to be popping for an hour, but it will sit down. Yeah, as a rating, 7 for me personally in terms of the female scents I've come across, but 8 in terms of quality and the pop on it. Alternatives to this, man, there's a lot. There's a gardenia one from Chanel that's just great. You know, your Chanel No. 5s, your Estee Lauders, ladies. I think that's where you go for this style, is going to be Estee Lauder, Chanel, or Acqua di Parma. You stay here. Anyways, this was Acqua di Parma's Black Label Eau de Parfum, and it was called Magnolia Infinita, I'm going to say it's called. And pretty solid. I wouldn't have given it a 3.8. Probably would have at least, I mean, it's kind of appropriate. You know, I did give it an average rating. I think 3.8 is quite average, but I think it's super wearable and the quality is there. And I wouldn't be mad if I smelled this on a woman. I would actually be quite pleased. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. The show's over here, but I'm going to throw a couple videos on screen for you to enjoy. Ladies, we're looking out for you this year at all levels. So if you're into fragrances at any level, any price point, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. This is where you want to be. And I even interview a lot of women on this channel of all ages to get their perspective and to also just, you know, include them in the conversation of fragrance. Women were a part of this fragrance thing long before men were. And so it's good to hear the perspective on how ladies approach their selection to fragrance. The only reason I'm even talking about it is because I know a lot of ladies trust my nose in regards to the men and in regards to unisex fragrances. But I think what's unique in this space is getting a man's take on fragrances. Like, as a man at my age, do I think these fragrances would smell incredible on a woman? And I think I can offer you some useful information. So definitely stick around. We're looking out for you. This is the Scent Bubble. Hope you enjoyed this. Definitely throw your comments below because I do talk back, and have a blessed rest of your day. Peace.